It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Clover Cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Love at First Bite here in the Espresso Kitchen. Of all the delicious ways you can enjoy potatoes, serving them in a rich, gooey, oven-baked recipe has got to be one of our very favorites. And serve it as a side dish, or maybe you can use it as a main, as long as you make it with superior quality of Clover cheese. You are guaranteed to get the very best result from the humble spud. Jenny Morris, sounds yummy as the uproar that you just created on social media. Everybody is talking about the half-naked show.
It's
so
not
now
going to be you. It's going to be him.
Is it going to be him? And yeah, we're getting everybody. We're just rallying everybody to be part of the half-naked show.
Well, let's vote. Let's take a vote, eh? What do you say?
Definitely. You know, people's already been saying on social media, they're like,
Really?
Yes. So now we have to give the people what they want. You see what you started?
Absolutely, darling.
Okay, let's talk about the food.
I'm going to give you what you are going to absolutely love. Your mouth is going to love you, and you're going to keep coming back for more. I'm going to make a little bit of a roux. It's like a start of a lovely white sauce. We've got some leeks in there, all nice and buttery. We've got garlic, which is antioxidant, it's antibacterial. It's antibiotic and antisocial, and who cares, because I love it. And we've got some fresh thyme. You could use dried thyme as well. I'm actually such a lazy girl, so I'm going to just break it up and pull the stems out later. But don't serve it with the stems, because you could actually poke somebody in the face, you know.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to poke somebody in the face, and that would be a great idea.
Well, I do that all the time, but you've got to be kind, you've got to be nice. So what we want to do here is, while you're mixing those two beautiful Clover cheeses together for me,
certainly, and
I want to cook the flour out a little bit, Jamie, because, you know, have you ever had like a sauce where it tastes raw? Like the flour tastes raw.
I'm not calling out any of my family members on here, but it's happened before, and I'm not going to say anything, but unfortunately I have had that experience.
Okay, so here's a little tip for everybody out there, is just to let that flour cook out a little bit, get those little starch bubbles to explode. And it also helps to release the starch into the sauce, and it'll thicken beautifully. So now I'm going to have some salt. If you've got high blood pressure, use a little no salt or a little bit less salt, but you know what? I want to use all the salt. I love it. And just to get that going, you can start smelling the garlic is starting to release. The minute I've released those beautiful flavors of the garlic, I call it the perfume. You can call it the stink. They call it the stinking rose.
No, but the stinking rose tastes
she's delicious.
Oh, she's delicious.
And this is half milk and half cream. This is going to be a magnificent sauce. And we just want to get it to start to thicken. Now, by cooking out those little starch bubbles, this is going to thicken quicker. So I'm going to put the heat up a bit and just keep an eye on it. And what's lovely about this is we're going to put some chicken in it. So you can cook the chicken specifically, or you can go and buy one, or the lovely way to use up last night's supper. Absolutely.
And like I mentioned earlier on, the best part of this is that it can either be like a main dish, because we're adding some protein to that, or it can be a side dish. I think this would be perfect for a nice bride.
Absolutely.
And then play around with your protein. Some bacon would be lovely with this as well. Am I speaking
bacon,
your language?
salami,
yes, everything.
Bacon, anything goes.
You want to
anything goes. Okay, so this will continue to cook and thicken up in the oven, because it goes into the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. And the way we do it is we layer. So we put a little layer of sauce down.
The sauce down.
I'm going to put a little bit of sauce down, like so. And then we're going to put some potatoes. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
That already.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. As I said, it'll thicken up beautifully in the oven. I'll put about that much on it.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Okay, now let's put some potatoes on top of that.
You're going to lay that?
Do you want to help me?
Yes, sir.
You go this side. Don't touch my side. See?
I will.
I'm sanitized.
I will stick to my side.
Go.
I will stick to my side. I'm also sanitized. And then it's beautiful.
And then what you can do is you can just put a nice little sprinkling of cheese on top of that. And the potatoes are cut nice and thin so that they can... And in fact, darling, just put a really good sprinkling of cheese on top of that.
Do you know the sad reality is that I used to be allergic to cheese for the longest time. So for about 15 years of my life, I did not eat cheese. I used to have this like just reaction.
Oh, no.
And then I slowly started introducing it back into my system. And now
And now you're in love
do not
with it.
live without it.
Make sure it's everywhere, because you know what? If you were cooking for your boyfriend, your husband's ex-wife, and they were sitting at the table and you left that bit without cheese, she'd say, oh God, Jenny can't
I
cook.
did it on purpose. Well, if your husband's ex-wife do want to get her hands on this recipe, expressoshow.com is where you can find that and all the list of ingredients for her.
That's enough, darling. I mean,
oh.
no, you're a happy girl, I can see. Potatoes. Let's go patates.
Patates. This
And
is
then
heaven.
last day we're going to do cheese, and I've made one up front, as one does. And I'm going to feed you, Mama. You know what to do, huh?
When I know you're in the kitchen, I know I'm going to be fed and I'm going to leave just satisfied.
Okay, give me half a second. Let me put a little bit more of that. That's fine. And spread the cheese, spread the love all over, okay? So that everything gets nice and covered. It's easy peasy.
There we go. Put
And I
the
made
last-
one up front, and it's still beautiful and warm from the oven, not hot enough to burn me. And if you give me a little plate,
I can.
I'm going to cut you a little corner. Thank you. Give me a knife, please, Jamie.
I do not have a knife.
That's all right, sweetheart. I will just do it like this. I'm a very, oh, just look, we know we said ooey gooey cheesy,
My mouth
ever so pleasy.
is watering already.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Thank you, Jenny Morris, for always feeding us
Yeah.
and for making sure that we have new show ideas like the Half Naked Show. But if you missed out on any of those steps, here is a quick recap.
Good.
I want to hug you.
Made with love by Clover.